So there's a few things that you can do to create a way better sexual experience, and things that you specifically are going to do before you have sex with a girl. I'll be honest, a couple of these are a little bit of common sense, but I like to say, and I love this phrase that I heard somewhere, common sense, not common practice. So it's good to reinforce these ideas in your head. So something you have to understand here is this video is going to be teaching you a few things to do, which is going to create a much better sexual experience and a smoother sort of experience when you guys are about to have sex. Some things I'm going to say, I know guys are going to be like, no, that thing that you're telling me to do, that ruins the mood. Now, I know I'm being vague here. We'll get to all this in just a second. But just trust me when I say, if you do this properly, the things you're going to do is not going to ruin the mood. It's all going to be fine. And like I said, you are going to have a great experience with her, which is going to keep her coming back for more, right? And that's what we want. We want to create great experiences so she'll come back, continue to be attracted to you. And then, of course, at that point, you have not wasted your time being able to go through the point of meeting a girl, dating her, sleeping with her, and then having her completely disappear. We don't want that. The mistake that I hear about from guys is that they just kind of jump into sex. They don't do any kind of preparation. They just kind of let it happen, and they are not focused on what is going to happen. So what happens is that you have that rough experience. So guys are not prepped for that. So what I'm going to be talking about right now is the preparation for you to have and create this mood, and not just jump into it. Okay? So again, guys are not thinking ahead, jumping into it. Just got to be a little bit prepared. So let's go into it. First thing is you got to have some sort of lube and condoms next to your bed. Okay? Preferably, of course, in your nightstand. I do recommend Uber Lube, and no, I'm not getting paid or sponsored to say that. You can look it up if you want, probably on Amazon or wherever. Uber Lube, it's a good lube, and it is one that doesn't end up getting sticky. Sometimes you find that you use lubes and they actually do the opposite and have the opposite effect, and they kind of dry up and get sticky. So this one works very well. I believe it is water-based. So anyways, you want lube and you want condoms next to your bed. Those are things that might end up happening, whether even if it's the first time having sex with her or if it is the 10th time having sex with her. So the reason why I'm saying have them next to your bedside is because it creates a smoother experience rather than having them in your dresser drawer. Maybe that's across the room, or having it in your bathroom somewhere. Just have it next to there, because that is most likely where you are going to be having sex. Have that prepped, have that there. The next one is having some sort of light dimmer, okay? So this is something that you can actually figure out. You can pay for it. You can install it yourself. It is possible and easy to get dimmed lights if you don't already have it. If you don't want to go through that trouble at the worst, instead, you can have a lamp there, right? So some sort of lamp to create more mood lighting. Now, the reason this is not to necessarily create this romantic setting, but really it's just trying not to have a pitch black room, which could be not as fun, right? Or have a completely bright room where it's so bright that it just feels not as sexy, okay? So again, it's not about trying to create this romantic mood. It's just about making sure you have just a little bit of lighting so it is a little bit sexier, and it is something that is going to be more comfortable for the both of you. Again, not as fun when it's pitch black, and too bright if you have just normal lights on, like maybe something like these. Next thing, before you have sex, do not have heavy foods, okay? It can make you gassy. You don't want that. It can make your stomach grumble. It can make you just also not in the mood. And also, she won't be in the mood. So if you're eating heavy pizza or pasta, of course, I mean, it can be fine, and you guys can end up having sex and it'll be fine. But why put yourself through that? Better to have some sort of lighter dish. I recommend something like chicken breast and vegetables, or fish or sushi, something that's going to feel light. So it's not going to be so intense on your stomach before this physical activity. So let's make sure that before you have sex, do not be eating heavy meals. Next is foreplay, okay? Before you have sex, you gotta have foreplay. I think a lot of guys skip this one. That's why I bring it up so much. I think that guys skip it and they think like, oh, like, let me just get right to it. Or they think like, oh, I don't wanna have any sort of erectile dysfunction. So if I'm like getting an erection now, then I should just jump into it. Listen, you gotta have foreplay in there. It really sets the mood better and makes things go smoother, because sometimes it takes a little bit more time for a woman to be turned on. And when she's turned on, you're going to be turned on, and it's going to go for a better experience. And when she's having this better experience, she's going to want to come back for more, and so are you. So make sure foreplay is involved before sex. Okay, here's the next one. This is the one I was talking about when I was saying to you that, you know, you might say, no, I'm not going to do that because it totally ruins the mood. But you are making a massive mistake here. Okay, so before you have sex with a girl, and I'll be very specific here. So here's the advice. This is not literally right before you're about to have sex. I mean, this is going to be when you guys are sitting there talking and maybe kissing a little bit, but you're hanging out. It's like on the couch or wherever. Your clothes are still on. It's in that section of the night. You're going to be asking her if she has any STDs, and you're going to be asking her for consent. Now, let me break that up for a second. The consent is not going to necessarily happen right there, but the STD talk is. But I'm just kind of lumping these together in one tip, because this is just the conversations that you're going to have with her as you are moving forward to sex. So first, STDs. You want to ask her. You want to ask her what her sexual history is. You can even just blurt it out as you guys are talking and say, hey, I'm just curious. I think it's good to know, what is your sexual history? If you don't want to do that because you don't want to ruin the mood, well, good luck, because then you might get an STD, and that's no fun. So I'd rather have a conversation that might be a little bit uncomfortable to make sure that she is safe and you are safe and all that good stuff. So make sure you're doing that. And I urge you to do it, because really you don't want to have any regrets there. Next is you're going to ask for consent. Now, you're not going to be asking for consent in that same conversation. This will be a little bit later, when you guys are getting a little bit more hot and heavy, when clothes is starting to come off, maybe foreplay is happening, then you can ask her for consent. This is something that guys think is going to ruin the mood, but really you don't want to, A, have sex with a girl who doesn't want to have sex with you. That is just the moral responsibility that you should have. And B, also, you really just want to make sure that you're enjoying it with someone that also wants to do it, right? Like, it's just more enjoyable that way. Don't ever feel like the girl should feel forced. That should never happen. So make sure you're asking for consent. A great way to do this is just asking her, hey, should I go get a condom? That's pretty obvious of what you're asking. If you want, you can even go super direct and say, hey, would you like to have sex? And it's going to be funny. You might laugh about it. She might laugh about it. But at the end of the day, even though it seems like the mood is killed right there, you'll go right back to it. Trust me when I say you want to do this. One thing that guys have a tough time with is initiating the whole sexual tension thing. I've been talking about this recently. I have a free video for you of a demonstration that I do with another girl, showing you how to initiate the first kiss and build tension. Check that out down below. You can click that. It is an actual demo, and you're going to want to learn how to build tension so you can get to the point where you are doing this checklist. Okay, so here's what I would do first, just to get this all set up for you. I would go and get condoms and get lube, put it by your bedside. That's going to be the first thing you can do to prep for all of this. And then you can move down the list and do something else. So there you go, a little bit of homework for you. Let me know which one of these you were already doing. Leave a comment down below. Let's hear from you, and I'll see you on the next episode.